Let's make a star player rating style then with Liverpool's goalkeeper, Alisson Becker. What were your thoughts on Alisson's performance? Because I'll be honest, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but all I can say is praise the Lord for Alisson Becker. Praise again, Alisson Becker. He can play guitar on the stage and he can save goals from going past them, and Liverpool needed him to do that today.
As long as he doesn't start playing guitar while he's in goal, he could do it. I know he could do it, but let's not go there. I'd give him a 9. Let's get that right out the way. I never give anyone a 10, because where do you go if suddenly a world superstar arrives? So 9. We'd have lost the game without him, and really that doesn't mean he spent 90 minutes stopping the ball going in the net. That's not what he's about. He's about that moment when danger suddenly is there and he's on the ball and he does his job to perfection, and he saved the day. And there's not really too much you can say about Alisson, because it's all been said before.
Chloe, 4 saves. Also, it probably isn't counted in the stats, but I think he does really well with Mudryk in the last couple of seconds, just to force him wide. He basically makes him say, he has to go wide there. Alisson does well. Not really much he can do with the goal. He actually gets a little bit unlucky. I think if the lad actually connects with that properly, Alisson probably saves it. The fact that he scuffs the shot, kind of does it past them. But John's right. Liverpool lose that game without the best goalkeeper in the world. Swap them goalies, and that could be 4-1 to Chelsea quite comfortably.
Yeah, it's all about concentration, isn't it, and focus. Because as a goalkeeper, you're not always needed, and especially at Liverpool Football Club for the last 4 years, Liverpool have had most of the possession. They always will do. They didn't today, obviously, at Stamford Bridge. But in those moments, goalkeepers tend to lose focus. They tend, something else catches their eye. Alisson is laser focused all the time, and his decision making is so clear. He knows exactly what he's going to do when that ball and that player is in front of him. He's not half-hearted decisions, not knowing whether to come or go. He makes himself massive, and we would have 100% lost this game, maybe 3-1, 4-1, without him in goal for us.
So there you go then. Alisson gets a 9 from John or Harry. I'll come to you then. I don't mean, mate, on your first ever appearance to throw you a bit of a curveball, but I might just be about to do it because I need to talk about Andy Robertson. I think it's fair to say there's never been a more relieved man in a world football stadium to see Reece James going off injured as Andy Robertson was there. What did you make of Robbo's performance? Again, a lot's been made, mate, about do Liverpool need a left back or do Liverpool need a left centre back in this system where it's one or the other. I don't think Andy Robertson, again, I don't preempt him, but I'm not sure Andy Robertson did anything to silence any doubters. Is that fair to say?
It's fair to say, but I think that our need for a left-sided centre-back is definitely more than a left-back. I think you need someone who can play left-back for sort of different formations, but I think Robson was scared of James today. There's no way to say it, but I think you can't give Robertson more than a 7.
Do you want to give him a 7? Do you want to go higher? Do you want to go lower?
No, you go lower than a 7.
Go on then, you make your number. You're here for what you're going to give him.
5.
That's a lot lower than a 7.
5.3.
No, I'm listening.
Love it.
We'll stick with the 5. You give him a 5. 5.3 is just. I'm making. It's the new rules. There's no points allowed. 5.3. Yeah, we'll give him a 5.
Don't give him a 7 though.
It's interesting, Chloe, because a lot of I've sort of a few other people talking about Robertson's performance, and I'm in agreement. I thought he struggled. What was most concerning to me is that pace is usually his get out thing, and Reece James was giving him 2 or 3 yards and steamrolling past them. And you mentioned on the Instant Match Reaction show, usually teams go the other way at Liverpool. They stay away from Robertson and Van Dijk. We'll go at Trent to space in behind him, and then whoever's on the right, whether it's Matip, Gomez, Ibu, whatever. Chelsea targeted Andy Robertson, and he got a lot of joy from it.
Yeah, and he's the lad who has Virgil van Dijk next to him. The lad who, several years ago was the greatest defender of all time, is Liverpool's captain right now. And even with that captain next to him, he struggled today. I think 5 is being nice, if I'm being honest with you. 5 makes me think you're an average. You've played average football. No. He was at least a 4. I'm not going to go any lower because it's the first game of the season, but he was a 4 for me. He was by far the worst man on the pitch for Liverpool. I thought he was more disciplined than he was in pre-season. In pre-season, I was screaming at him a lot because he was going too far up and bombing ahead when Trent was too far up. I think he got lucky. He might have wanted to try and do that if Reece James wasn't as high up the pitch as he was, and he didn't let him do that, but had on toast time and time, every 50-50. That lad is, if I was to put anyone to win a 50-50, it'd be Robbo, because he's the scrappiest man about. He's hard as nails. He lost every 50-50 up against anyone on that right hand side for Chelsea today, and Sterling, Reece James and Enzo Fernandez played absolute rings around him. The other problem is, and I don't want to be too tough, because this is not his role, this is not where he should be playing. He's not a left centre back, he's a left back. In fact, he's probably a left wing back, if I'm being perfectly honest, with how advanced he usually is. And his knowledge of knowing where to be in terms of to the touchline, and to Virgil, he was literally a yard away from Virgil van Dijk, and there was so much space for Reece James to just walk into, but he was so scared that Sterling was going to cut in behind him and go off Virgil that he didn't know what to do. And I think this is a system that is in balance, because that left hand side was all over the place from 30 minutes on, and to have Robertson as that centre back, Liverpool need to hold possession far more than they did today.
I'm going to adjudicate, I'm going to give him the 5. I think he'll be harsh with a 4, so we'll go 5 for Robbo.